there are many ways you can build a car. I had this passion since I was a kid, wanted to build something, build a supercar. And then this shifted from building a supercar to building an industry, to building ecosystems, to how can we make something different? And I told them, budget is under, there is no limit into how much it's going to cost. I want it to be the best car in the world. Now, when things are getting serious, I wouldn't have a single dollar in our bank account. And then I realized that with a very small budget, I can start taking the first step into it and then learn how to take it to the next stage. And we did. So 10 years later today, in the UAE, we became the first car manufacturer in the region. And that was the beginning of Bloody Motors.
Gladiators, welcome back. Today I have a beautiful special guest with a special gift we're going to talk about later. Ralph Debbas, a man I have actually got to know a little bit about recently. The funny thing is I actually heard about your vehicles and I heard about you recently. So welcome to the arena.
Thank you.
I'd love to know your story. We are in Dubai. I know I got a little bit of snippets. You were in England, Greek, Lebanese, Cyprus. Tell me, how old are you? What are you doing at the moment? And then we can go back. And what brings you here?
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here, first of all, in the arena with the gladiator. Just feel like I'm fighting something, some lions.
Well, Greeks and Persians. This is going to end up bad. No, this is going to end up bad. Today. Yeah.
Well,
unfortunately, you guys win every time. So
I don't know how, though. Well, thanks for having me, first of all, and thanks for the introduction. So I'm Ralph, and I'm the founder and CEO of Lebanese Motors, which I created 15 years ago. We've been in the UAE for around 10 years. We're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year with the opening of our new plant in Dubai. I'm Lebanese Greek, born in Cyprus.
We won't hold it against you.
Yeah, just
be friendly.
Raised in Lebanon, studied in the UK, and went all around Europe before deciding to come back to my hometown in Lebanon, set up Lebanese Motors. And then a couple of years later, once we were ready to launch it to the world, we set up shop in Dubai in 2012, and that's 12 being 13, and we've been here for that time.
Were you born rich? The reason for that, because I tell you why, because the viewers who are listening and watching, the moment you say car manufacturer, they think billions. Right?
Yeah.
It costs factories millions and hundreds of millions.
It is a very heavy investment, of course, but just to put things into perspective, the company is not a family business. I created this from scratch. My father comes from the chocolate business, nothing to do with what I'm doing, and I wanted to branch out and do my thing. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So from my grandfather to my father to my uncles, all of them are entrepreneurs. So I had this in my blood since I was a kid, to get, the thrill and take the risk like everybody does. And I went for it. I just went with my dreams. So I decided to study automotive design. I did a master's of car design. I had this passion since I was a kid, wanted to build something, build a supercar, like everybody else. And then this shifted from building a supercar to building an industry, to building ecosystems, to how can we make something different? And I identified the Middle East to be the perfect target to say, we should come here. We all love cars in the Middle East, but nobody has built car region here. So let's start building. And it was a 10-year plan. I knew that's going to take 10 years to build the credibility, to build the partnerships, to build the leadership that's needed for that. And we did it. So 10 years later today, in the UAE, we became the first car manufacturer in the region, building full-fledged automotive cars from a screw all the way to a full vehicle coming out, completely certified on a global level. So huge milestone that was done for the region. And it took a lot of work to get here.
Amazing. Going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your first step into entrepreneurship? First of all, when you were in university and you were learning about designing cars, was there a particular car you admired or a designer or a story of a car manufacturer, Honda or?
When I was a kid, I had, we all have our fetish, beautiful cars that we always have.
Let's not talk about our fetish. Let's stick to cars.
Talk about cars,
Yes.
We have these,
Yes.
idol cars.
Let's keep it clean.
And we all love, these Lamborghini Countach, we get the Gandini cars back in the days, and there were a few cars where I remember I used to play with them, the small cars, the Ferrari in order to get to GTO. Then you had before G340 concept. I'm not sure you remember this.
I do.
Had a glass roof.
Yeah.
It's a blue glass roof. It's a white car with a big rectangle as an exhaust.
Stayed as a concept, didn't it?
It was a concept. And this remained in my mind. So why is this car so different? Why does it look so different? And this intrigued me into working, my mind into how can people design cars like that. And then came, the Citroën GT concept in 2005, 2006. Which was a concept car racing. They made a few of them, actually. They made, I think, 7 or 8 of them in the world, but they're purely for Le Mans racing, Gran Turismo style. And this was the beginning of the rest of these things together. So these cars were always there.
One particular designer that you admired, you like although you probably didn't know them, you thought, I'd like to be like him.
I didn't know anything about car design. When I was a kid, I was just like cars. I didn't know who the designers are. I didn't even know there was something called car design back then. I thought it was just a factory that builds cars and takes it out, and they happen to look like that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was architects working on that. We really don't know.
Engineers and
forget, I'm coming from the Middle East here. I'm coming from the region here. We're not necessarily educated when it comes to the culture of car and automotive design here.
we just look west to the west or east.
Yeah. And everybody that graduates here, you have to be a doctor or an architect or a businessman. That's it. Just go do your thing. And that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't good in school. I was just a random, average student, but I had this passion and I was a dreamer. So whatever happens at university, I got accepted in agriculture. I was like, yeah, let's do agriculture. And then I said, let's do graphic design, which is great. And I started graphic design. That's how I started. And then 1 year down the line in Lebanon, I was doing
graphic design, not car, just graphic.
That's how I started in Lebanon. I didn't know there was a car design thing, but I always had this passion and sketching cars and stuff. Yes. And 1 year down the line, I realized that there is something called automotive design, and England was the best place for it, which is Coventry University, which is the best university in the world.
No, I didn't know.
So
and then what? They tend to go to Crewe. It's not that far away. Yeah, it's Bentley and that's it.
So that's exactly it. And you had many design centers and engineering centers there. So I applied for Coventry and many, many more universities there, just randomly. I didn't even think I'm going to get accepted. And I just got accepted to a few of these, one in New York, one in Sunderland University. I said, one of these universities. And Coventry was still pending. And then a few months down the line, I got accepted in Coventry. It was a one-night decision going there. So I just packed my stuff and
family supported you. So off you go, chase your dreams.
Do your thing, just let know when you're ready, when you're done. So I did it. And from there, it was either a choice of working for someone, or just working as an employee in a company and growing there, which like everybody does. And I thought that's the only way to do it. And as a European citizen, because I had a Greek passport, I was sponsored by the European Union to choose any company I want in Europe for 6 months and to work there paid by the EU, because I was pretty good in car design, which is strange enough. I don't know.
So you found your passion.
I found my passion.
You got in there, and as a student, they recognize your gift.
But what's amazing about it is that if I recall back, it was never in university. It was all about finding solutions in my own way. I attended 14 days of class, in 4 years, which is unheard of. Nobody knew me up there. They just thought this guy comes in, submits, and leaves. But I wanted to do my own thing.
So what were you doing? You were Googling, you were researching?
No, I was working on my business plan for W Motors on the back end at home. So I was, having these things.
As a student?
As a student. That's how I started W Motors. And I was working on manufacturing. I was traveling to Europe and onto the motor shows, to Paris. I was literally trying to learn the industry. How do you build cars? Not only how do I...
So the thoughts of, God, it's going to be too expensive, I can't afford it, that didn't even cost you money.
Of course it did, but it didn't stop me. I knew that I didn't have the money to do it, but I passed on. Let's at least have an idea of how much it costs.
A lot of people won't start their business because they have a fear of the money, right? They can't raise it. You think at any time you have to raise money?
To be honest,
be easy, difficult?
When I was younger, I was maybe stupid. That's why I didn't think that was going to be a challenge. I thought everything, could be done possibly. Yeah. And I think it's an advantage to be like that, not to take it, be scared and wait. Let's go for it. Go for it and see what happens. What would happen? I can't raise the money. It doesn't work. Great. I continue doing something else. And that's my chain of thought like that. And the click happened in 2006, where I met the company called Magna in the Paris Motor Show. So Magna Steyr was their largest engineering company in the world. It's so huge, based in Austria and Canada. And I realized that maybe 50% of the car companies in the world don't build their cars. They actually get engineering companies, they make a contract, and they let them build it for them, which means that your CapEx investment is much lower than you had in mind.
Do you mind if I ask you, because I'm really interested?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I mention brands? It's okay, we're not going to get sued here, are we? Yeah. So you have a Porsche or a Lamborghini stuff. You tend to think that Porsche have their own engineers and own designers, and Ferrari have their own. That is not the case.
So Ferrari is the best example, actually. Ferrari never engineered their cars. That's for information.
It's just a brand.
Ferrari is a brand. They build the concept, they design the car, they style it, and then they take the design, they take the specification, it's like a wish list. They make their engines. Ferrari makes their engines and their chassis. They're different. And then they send this to a company called Magna in Italy, Magna Steyr in Turin. And they say, here's the car. You have 12 months. Engineer the panels, engineer the car, make the tooling, make the molds, and send me the ready beef for one stuff. Now, Ferrari ends up building their car themselves, but they don't engineer it. So the gap is in between. Other companies go the other way around. They don't even build their cars. They go all the way to Magna or other companies like Magna, for instance, and they tell them, okay, here's a concept, here's a car, build it for me. I'll guarantee to buy 100,000 cars from you every year. I'll put my logo on it and I'll sell it as a BMW.
And Magna manufacture as well?
Oh yeah, Magna does the
They're not just an engineer, but they're manufacturing.
Yeah.
So it's like televisions, like one's Panasonic, one is Sony, but they're all the same.
So yeah, it's one major supplier. It's a contract manufacturer, globally known. That's an example. There are many other companies.
And they've never thought of putting their own brand on it.
They're not allowed to, because they work with so many brands. It becomes a conflict of interest.
And other brands don't worry about the secrets being shared.
The best example is the Mercedes G-Class. You know,
Yes, of course.
how old is this car? It started maybe 35, 36 years old. The G-Class actually designed, engineered, manufactured, created by Magna in Graz in Austria. Did you know that?
No idea.
And the manufacturing plant are still ongoing for the past 36 years. Same for the G-Class in Austria. It was built for the military initially. They shifted to Mercedes-Benz. This was never a Mercedes car. It was never built or engineered by Mercedes. That's for you to know. So these are examples of people.
So through the channels, through the branding, they make the margin. Thank you so much. Yeah, somebody else.
So this is my eye-opener when I saw that. I realized that there are many ways we can build a car. It doesn't have to be, I have to build a factory and engineer something. So let me see how I can do it. And that's how it started. And then I realized that with a very small budget, I can start taking the first step into it and then learn how to take it like the next stage. And that was the beginning of W Motors.
You kept looking at your watch, so we don't have that long, right? Because
no.
I can talk to you for hours here, right? Literally.
I'm just saying the Apple Watch actually rings every time I get a message.
No, you should have switched it off. The other day, actually 2 days ago, we had a podcast with quite a VIP, and I get carried away. And the person I'm interviewing gets carried away. It could be 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I said it's much by a digital clock. And we forgot that the alarm was set on it. So halfway through, the alarm's going off. And we just like, so, I'm dying to talk about this car. Is this your first of all, viewers, when I met Ralph, he brought this beautiful wife. They brought this amazing gift for me. And I can't wait to ask you loads of questions. Is this car your first design?
No. This is the second model we made. The first one was the Lykan HyperSport, before it launched in 2013, 10 years ago. The Lykan was famous for its Euro-themed Fast and Furious 7, where it's the red car flying from one building to another. I'm pretty sure, actually, Vin Diesel looks like you. Yeah, Vin Diesel looks a bit like you. It's very strange, yeah. But
I look like a lot of people, like Donna White. I get it all. Yes.
But yeah, so this was our car.
The other day, somebody came to me, you Ronaldo. and I Googled him. He's like this fat guy now, Ronaldo. Oh, no, I'm not. Yeah.
You're much more fit. So the Lykan was the first creation we made, and that was.
Where was this designed and manufactured? In Germany?
No, so the Lykan was the beginning of W. Let's put it this way. It's my
design,
my heart,
baby.
It's my baby. It took around 5 to 6 years to make. We started in 2007, 2008. The design started in Lebanon, and then shifted, to Italy when we met Magna 2009 when I signed with Magna. Magna Italy took on the engineering, certification, manufacture of the car, make sure we get a car that's completely globally certified. So it's not a concept car, it's an homologated certified vehicle. And the target for us was to build only 7 cars in the world. So we developed it as Ferrari develops their 20,000 production run, let's say, of the vehicle, but we did only 7 of it. And we still have chassis number 1 is in our office. You'll see it next time they come and visit it. So 7 cars were built. We launched in 2013 at the Doha Motor Show in 2013, and then followed by the Dubai Motor Show in November, which was the official global launch. And this took so much hype that we got contacted by Universal Studios literally a month after that. They were filming Fast and Furious 7 back then in the Middle East. It was filmed in Abu Dhabi. So they were looking for something from the Middle East, expensive. The Lykan was $3.5 million, so it was the most expensive car in the world when it came out back then.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
They wanted something special. So they reached out to us. We made a deal with them, which was unreal. We didn't pay a single penny. It wasn't a product placement. I didn't have money to pay for product placement.
But they paid for the car?
They paid for 10 cars. They bought 10 cars for stunt cars, not the real car.
Okay, because there's only 7.
Yeah. So we made 10 production runs for them. We signed with them a lifetime royalty deal, a lifetime licensing deal, and till today, we still get royalties from the movie for featuring the film. And they wrote the script around the Lykan, and the car was featured for over 10 minutes as the hero car of the movie.
So in these 10 minutes, how much that earned you per show?
It's unbelievable. It was really entertaining.
That's like sharing.
Besides the monetary, the result that we got, just the exposure that we got, just having W Motors being put there on the international screen was phenomenal. Every single person I've heard knew this car, the red car that flew from one building to the other. And to tell you something, they actually did these stunts live, and I was there when they filmed it. So I was in Atlanta. They filmed everything there. They built the sets in Atlanta.
So they took 10 of your cars and took them to Atlanta.
And they destroyed them all. We shipped the cars by DHL. DHL. They came in with a yellow pack. I've
What
never
was the
seen a
total
car.
cost of the 10 cars to them?
To them was around $2.5 million for the cars, and the shipping alone was around $700,000 in one way, just to put them in a box and send them.
Now you know they're serious.
Oh yeah. Their budget was insane. They paid $300 million for the movie, so we were just a small part.
And that's increased since.
Yep. And the best part is after the movie finished, because in homage to Paul Walker, who passed away during the film. So as a memory, we did a lot of tours, global tours. We went to Beijing, we went to the US, we did a European tour with them with the whole team. And then the last remaining life that were in the movie that Paul Walker actually sat in was signed by everybody and sent back to W Motors as an homage. We have it in our show.
They didn't have to.
They didn't have to. They paid for it.
Did you meet the stars?
Of course, we went with them.
Did you meet Paul Walker at the beginning of it?
No. Paul Walker was actually, I was in Atlanta when he went to the Thanksgiving weekend where he had the accident, when he had the accident. And I was there in Atlanta when he was back in California.
Did you do some investigation on the accident? Because he was a Porsche GT, wasn't
it? GT,
yeah. But the driver was a racing driver, right?
Yeah, but the car was tuned apparently, and I'm not sure what happened, but the car is a dangerous start driving.
Because it was a straight road, wasn't it? And then they hit a tree.
I think they lost control with this. Went into the road. Yeah, these things happen, unfortunately. But it was.
I always thought, was he a fast driver himself, or because he was sitting next to a driver?
Nobody knows what happened.
There's a street in America. There's no. I don't know if you know about it. There's no lamppost, trees, or anything. Just one lamppost. And every accident happens.
Not that lamp.
Yeah. You know why? Because when people are spinning, all they're thinking is avoid the lamppost.
Yeah.
And they hit the lamppost. They don't focus on the space.
True.
They got 359 degrees to hit, and they just hit that 1 degree lamppost. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's what the beginning of the Lykan was, the first car.
Let's go back. When you approach this again, the feeling I'm getting is you don't have limited beliefs, right? You just go for it. Am I correct?
True.
Just go for it. So if I'm there, putting myself in your shoes, and then I'm going to have a meeting with these guys, the engineering company in Austria.
Yep.
Getting with them. I'm thinking they want 100,000 commitments. I'd be pooing myself.
I'll tell you what, when I went camping, when I met Cameron, actually, it was around 13 years ago when I met Kate, and I told her, I thought I was this crazy guy, I wanted to build this car. And
you met her in Lebanon.
I met her in Lebanon 13 years ago. But before that, I had met Magna, I remember in 2006, 2007, Paris Motor Show. I gave them my car.
You're a student.
Gave them my car, said, I'm going to be a car designer one day. I'm doing this. I want to build a car.
And they treated you with respect.
They just kept it there. It's something guys crazy. But 3 years later, 2010, when we before when the Lebanon was set up, the design was ready for the Lykan, then I missed one. And I sent an email out to these Magna guys that I met. I had no idea who they were. I just sent an email out. And I said, I'm this guy, from Lebanon that wants to build this car. They replied back. Saying, all right, we remember this crazy guy that came 3 years ago, wanted to build this $3-4 million car. Would love to meet you again. And
they remembered you.
They remembered me.
What do you think? Why did they?
I was the only one coming from the Middle East wanting to build a car back then.
Were you passionate about it?
I was passionate about it. And I was there, and I told them, budget is under, there is no limit into how much it's going to cost. I wanted to be the best car in the world. I had no penny. I had nothing to my name like that. But next morning I was in Graz, all by myself. I went to Austria alone with a business plan that I did myself, with a design of a car that I did. And I just walked into a boardroom with over 50 people sitting there, and all by myself, presenting this car. And I had all the way, how old I was? 21? So you're 20. I'm 36. I'm 36 years old.
You're a baby.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be your dad. Yeah. Shame on me.
So I started the company when I was
Congratulations.
So I took this in my hand and I told them, I want to build this car. And back then I wanted to build only one, not even seven. 7 that even come across my mind. I want to build one of them. And there is no limit to your budget. Give me the best product. I wouldn't say that to an engineering company. For them, it's music to their ear. It's not like they
couldn't say before coming, can we have a look at your bank statement?
Oh, no. They're just, I think they were just entertaining me to understand where this is going. Now, they did some research. We said 2 days there, workshops. And then they told me in Austria very clearly, we cannot help you in the street. We make mass production cars. You cannot make one car and stop the production. In Italy, that they had just set up, we could definitely help you to do something there.
Wait, stop looking at your watch. You're not going to answer it.
No, but I'm just curious. It's just vibrating.
And it's and whatever it is, you're not going to deal with it. I won't let you. You're in the arena. I'll stab you with one of my. All right. I'll stab you with this. So it's just a habit.
I went to Italy. And I met the guy.
Kate loves this.
I'm giving him cheap. Yes. He's taking from you now. So and today I met the CEO was back then appointed then.
So you went back home and then came back.
Came back to Italy, and I went that time with two of my designers that were together, just like friends of Coventry. We were together. We went there together. We pretended to be all serious, wearing suits and stuff.
You didn't expect him to tell us, say, "Can you back this up with some dollars?"
No. Just
It's okay, like you do.
So I went, presented the whole thing, and strange enough, these guys that I met 13 years ago became my closest family friends now, and really, it's unreal. And I have to know Fingiano and all the guys from Magna, the senior was on the whole pitch. We're so close today that we're literally together every single week. And,
Did they ask you tough questions? You overcame and
no.
you inspired them, or what?
I was lucky.
Oh my God! I think idiots just see any kids that arrive at the door.
Sometimes you're
got
lucky.
nothing to do. They're Italians.
Sometimes you're lucky with I think I was there literally the right time because Magna Italy had just been set up maybe a few months before I went there. And these guys that just took over, they were young back then, young. I mean, they were in their late 30s.
Fresh, looking for fresh ideas.
And I happened to fall on the right people. The three guys that I met there.
Did your email show some passion? Do you use trickery to get them? Or was it like,
I don't know how
yours
people,
faithfully? Or was it?
I don't know how people see my emails or read my emails, but
you haven't looked back and you think, what was the...
But something was there. We clicked from day one. And the only thing they wanted to do is said, we want to be part of this story because we believe potentially this could be something big in the Middle East. And they want to be part of it from the beginning. And we took it as an adventure together. And when I signed the first contract with them, and I knew that now when things are getting serious, we didn't have money. You had to pay, like you said. So we signed the first contract for $3 million, and we didn't have a single dollar in our bank account. So we had to do something with it. And that's where I started, working my, just off to.
So what about they wanted money up front, I guess, as a commitment.
Yeah,
right?
so of course.
So you have to go back somewhere and sell the story.
Sell the story, try to knock on every single investor, door, bank, and everything was literally shutting in my face. So that this guy's completely nuts. And
I still think you're nuts.
Yeah,
congratulations, rich nuts.
You have to be nuts. But yeah. So and then one of my close friends, back then, had convinced his father to be a seed investor in the company, just as with a small amount. That was enough for us to get us running, and we did it.
So how much was the small amount? You needed $2 million.
It was $500,000 back then, which was good enough to pay the first deposit for Magna,
and then you keep running,
and then keep on running for the rest, and then that's how it started.
So how much did you raise in your first?
You'll be surprised that till today, the company only raised 15 years with our growth, everything that we've done. We were self-sustained. From 2017, we became profitable and cash positive and growing. And the company had organic growth since then. So we only raised nearly $27, $30 million since the beginning of the company.
So you became good at raising money.
I wouldn't say we became good at raising money. We've been doing it for the past 15 years, but in our field of business, it's impossible to raise money. I'm telling you very honestly.
Exactly, because everybody it's like opening an airline. The first thing goes, you're not going to make it.
Absolutely.
You need mass, you need this, high cost.
Yeah. So now we're at a level where the company grew substantially since the beginning. It's completely different companies. We're not doing Supercar at all. Tell you more about what we're doing. And now it's a level where it's 100% active. We're talking about IPO stories. We're talking about the growth of the company, manufacturing plants, assets, government contracts. So it's a completely different company that shifted without me knowing it's going to be that big.
How much did you raise for the first car? The exact 2 million or 2.1 million?
And we raised 6 million for the first time.
So it became easier once you got your first 500,000, correct?
No, I mean, first 500,000 was the opener for us.
Yes.
We were able to do some events, get the attention, get the people there, and you can see it online. The first event, which 2012, where actually put till today, one of the best events we ever did in Beirut.
I was going to say.
We had 1,000 people there. It was a massive wedding, let's say, to celebrate W Motors. God knows why.
Who helped you with your marketing? Yourselves?
It was me. It was Catherine in the beginning. She was Romanian.
She's an investor of time.
My partner. So we've been doing everything together.
Congratulations to you both.
And then from there, we went. So some banks started supporting temporarily until we realized that not actually supporting. They're just there to make money, as any bank is. And then
you strike some bad. Looking back now,
of course. Listen, many mistakes were made, and many mistakes from my part, of course, and I learned. Without these mistakes,
we still do every day.
Right? We do, but without the mistakes I made 10 years ago, or 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I'll be doing them now. So I'm happy I did them a while back.
Cost you a lot less.
And now at least we'll learn how to avoid these mistakes. Hopefully, that's a good lesson to learn.
So you got the car. Congratulations, you raised 6 million, age 22.
Yeah.
Okay, were you not nervous when you looked from zero to all these noughts and a number before?
Listen, when you're young, you're gullible. You're, like I said again, I won't say stupid, but you're full with. I had the thrill inside of it. I had the fire. Everything was. I'm there. I'm on top of the world. You're doing everything you can. Everything's working out. You don't see the risk there, and for you, everything's working. In the best place. So the risk wasn't there until you actually see the risk.
So when you developing this first car, it was just yourself.
Oh yeah,
because you didn't need a manufacturer paying nothing. They're making it.
It was myself with my two friends. One of them was still with us here in the company. He's employee number one. And another friend of ours was back, one of the designers, who helped design the Lykan as well.
So it could have been from a bedroom. It could have been from a coffee.
We had an office. We had a beautiful office, actually. A very small office. We look back, but we had a beautiful office. It was our HQ. Even Magna came to visit from Italy. We literally there. We didn't have electricity downstairs. An elevator. You had to walk up.
That's the only one. Yeah.
Only building. A very old building. I used to go out. It's beautiful. But these memories, actually, we miss these.
Yeah, you cherish.
Everything's so different now, but we actually cherish and miss those little memories at all times.
So you had your fingers on the pulse. You felt everything.
Yeah, we used to do our paint for the walls.
Do you ever see? Here's the thing: you were a designer. You had a passion for cars. Now you're a businessman.
Yeah. No.
Did the passion suffer because you gain ups and downs, and also emotional turmoil? You got staff. You got rents.
The passion has always been there. It's always going to be there. But you miss the times when I was just a designer. Back then I was a designer. Okay, the business side was there, but I hadn't anything in place. If I was just coming together. But now I'm spending 90% of my time running business. Relationships, shareholder meetings, investors, governments. It's more on the business side, financial side, which is quite heavy now. And then you have the design, which now we have a design director that's leading the team and all this thing. But I give my input. And I wish I could spend more time just on.
How many staff work here?
We're nearly 100 people now, nearly 100 people now. So here in Dubai, we're growing to around to double in the next 6 months.
Is it a challenge hiring the right people?
Big challenge, very big challenge, especially here in the region, because 90%, 99% of our staff are expats. All of them are expats. And to get the right talent to come here,
want to use it as a career and stay.
Yeah, I mean, we have quite an attractive company, which is amazing. So a lot of people really want to work with W Motors. It's some crazy things happening every day, but it's like your arena, but on a different kind of arena. But it's difficult to get the right talent with the right price. That's one. Second, to get local talent, which we're aching to get. We really want to get local talent as well. Also difficult to start finding the right caliber of talent that fits in what we're looking for.
But being a young company, I guess you want grafters, not just dreamers. Not visionary.
We want everything. We want a bit of everything. And now that we shifted to,
you got to back it up with work, right?
Absolutely,
work rate.
But we shifted. I mean, if you look at the company 5 years ago, we were mainly getting designers, let's say back office guys. Nothing was on the ground. Everything was done by Magna, the partner around the world. Now, since COVID 2 years ago, that's where we decided to shift. That supply chain was impossible to reach. Our clients were impossible to be happy. Our contracts were going to be lost. We shifted to become manufacturing company here in the UAE. And within 90 days, we started manufacturing cars here, which never happened.
Saying you were in Dubai or Abu Dhabi or?
So that's where we took on warehouses. We hired some people. We custom machine, and we built the first cars built there in Dubai.
I'm going to go back again. What happened to your first car? You built it? Sitting with you now in your showroom?
Car number 1, the chassis number 001 is with us. Yeah,
so you never sold it?
No.
You get back to the guy, put your $500,000, when here you are.
No.
And no returns.
No returns. The guys are shareholders in the company, and that's up today. They went in 12, 13 years ago. Now they made.
So the valuation of the investment's gone up multiple. They haven't taken anything out.
The valuation's gone up maybe, you know how it is.
Sure.
So these are investors that stayed with us from the beginning.
So undersell yourself. But you did extremely well. I'm proud of you.
Thank
Incredible.
You.
So you got the first car. He arrived. Where did he arrive? Lebanon?
No, the first car was a show car. It was the model car that went right to Doha, Qatar Motor Show. I was actually there alone building a stand 3 days before we showed the year, and then it was a beautiful event.
The wife had left you by then.
Yeah, she decided.
I'm not going to Doha. You can stick it together with one car, 6 months of pain.
So this was the beginning, and then 6 months later we had the Dubai Motor Show, which was in November, and that's where we launched officially Lykan.
Jumping. So you arrived, the car arrives, Doha, you build this beautiful stand, and then what happened? You're like, okay, then I'm only building one.
Yeah.
Did you get orders for it, interest? What did you do with that interest?
No, we're making 7. We changed the strategy to make 7 cars.
Okay. So you have the one, you make 6 more.
So 1 which you take orders on, and then you make 6 more.
So the other 6 that sold out in Doha?
Not a Doha. The first car actually went on the news the guy never paid, but we sold it within 3 minutes. It's amazing. One of the
So you messed you around.
yeah,
You were there popping champagne bottles, spending it all.
This was a big, it was just normal. Now we know it today.
I used to sell, I used to collect art. And the first experience I had was I went to an auction and I gave it to the auction house and the percentage was going to go to charity. And this guy bought everything. He never paid. He got signed, he got interviewed and everything, and he never showed up.
Yeah, you see a lot of these things,
Yeah. That was your first sale.
Their first sale, so it was even on CNN. CNN talked about it, the most expensive car in the world, sold for X amount.
Was he local then?
Yeah. So, and then this never went. But anyway.
No deposit, no nothing?
So you were dealing with a very high royal family.
Was it?
So anyway, this was the beginning. The car.
Don't skip it because that's a pain, right? You're jumping, you're making like that. If I was, again,
it's a long time ago. We don't.
I know you don't, but the thing is, people listening, they're having knockbacks in their life. Okay. And they want to learn from you how you overcame it. Because if I sold a $2 million car or $3.5 million, and then the guy disappears, I'll have a pretty pissed off day, right? So I'll be a bit disappointed. How many orders did you get in Doha?
No, but you realize this was the only one.
So the only sale you did, the guy didn't pay you.
But you realize later
so apart from jumping off a cliff, how did you overcome that?
You realize later on that it's not the guy that didn't pay. It's actually the people that were mediating the deal that screwed up.
He never showed up.
They screwed up the deal. There was somebody representing us who's with us, with actually our team that said, I'm here to help you, this and that. And you realize this is what that's necessary.
Errors happen.
A few years, some miscommunication happened between these two, and this never happened. Now, you realize this later on. And that's one of the lessons that you learn. Just make sure that you have the communication directly with them. You're not with your middleman that's always in the middle. Even if you trust that person, nobody knows.
Is that person still with you?
No.
No, surprise. Did he make it to Dubai?
Yeah.
He made it. Oh, he lasted that long.
He's somebody from here. But anyway, the car went after that to Dubai boat show. Actually, we were at the boat show in it was the first furniture, I think in March 13th. And then I bring it to us. I knew that so many events happened. We did every month. Belgium with the car, went to Kuwait.
When did you sell all 7?
So it took us around a couple of years. The cars went after that, to Miami. We did the U.S. tours, went to Pebble Beach in California. Then we did here.
You see this order for $3.5 million. I guess these people, some names you recognize, right?
Of course, yeah.
And you go, oh my God,
yeah.
This so-and-so has bought my car.
That's what's amazing about the car and what we created in W Motors is more of a network of elite people that wanted to be part of this group. And it wasn't about the car anymore. It was about how can I get access to meet this person and do business altogether.
Because the people with the FU money, they don't care. They just want the rare vehicle. The money's nothing.
It's something special to be here. And every single person that ended up buying the car, putting the deposit, ended up doing business together. And we ended up
only cars.
Let's talk about something else now.
You have to mention names. Yeah, but it's good oligarch. But did you at the time?
No. Let's avoid that topic now. It's not the right time now.
Who were the easiest people to do business with?
Everybody was easy to do. I mean, everybody's
so positive.
Everybody seems difficult.
Who the most difficult one?
Everybody seems difficult because you're afraid to approach them. But once you're in, and you're in at the same level, because you come in,
they're phoning you up.
Yeah, you're there on a daily basis talking to them.
Okay, let's talk about. You've been very diplomatic.
Yeah.
Right. Who buys the car and is on the phone wanting parts all the time, servicing, cleaning, this?
They don't do that. They don't do that. They have a team for that. And so the team is the pain in the ass. They are more of the Zen people that don't even know about the car. They're just sitting about, I think the teams, they're panicking their ass off because, their boss is just sort of, hey, your boss wants to drive it that day. So it's a different approach. And these people,
I'd like to know.
And these people who buy our cars usually have at least 15, 60 cars already. It's not about 1 or 2 cars or 5, 10 cars. I'm talking much more.
There's me trying to impress you buying one. And then you got people.
We planned about 5 actually of one. So yes,
move on. Now we move on.
Yeah. So that was a Lykan. The Lykan was a love story. The movie came out in 2015. It was phenomenal. We literally went around the world with the car.
People saw the credits, saw you and contacted you.
Yeah, well, I contacted. They knew the brand. Then we started getting followers.
And then you maximized it, all of your marketing.
Everything became around that. And this was the beginning of our entry to China. China started in 2015, right at the beginning of the launch of Factory 7.
When did you start pinching the thing?
I do it every day.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Man.
Incredible. And then, did you have a plan for a second car while the first one was being built?
So in 2013, when we launched the Lykan in the Dubai Motor Show, we already had the design of the new showcased on the screen, then coming soon. And in 2015, which was the next motor show, we alone ago, 8 years ago, 2015, we launched the concept of the thing, which was launched at the Dubai Motor Show in 15. And in 2017, we actually launched the car at the Geneva Motor Show for our first time in Geneva, where 10 years earlier, I met the captain there. We just went there, and I told her one day,
She stuck it out.
Yep.
She came back.
He came back. She said, you know what, I want to be back.
Yeah, you're not so crazy after.
So Geneva was amazing because 10 years earlier.
You have kids?
Back then, we didn't have kids.
You have kids now?
Yeah, we have 2 beautiful kids.
How do you mean? Of course. How do I know?
Because when
you're not even sharing with your client base.
When you're doing cars like these, you need to share it with these beautiful
boy, girl. How old are they?
Boy and girl. Our Lykan is 7 years old, and the new Akila is 2.5 years old.
Oh, babies. Congratulations.
Thank you. And they're car fanatics.
Spinning those plates as well.
Yeah,
of course. So, second car was designed.
The design was launched.
Geneva
launch was phenomenal. For us, it was a very emotional time. Just being recognized as one of the global international OEMs we were there.
Because they don't allow everyone, do they?
Geneva is very, very stuck. And how you're there with the Volkswagens, with the Audis, with the BMWs, Mercedes, and you're there with your own stand, W Motors, launching your car. So it's a different caliber.
How do you build your own when you got no business experience through these people? No, seriously. Is it you watch your dad?
That was already in 2017. We've already been there, for 7 years.
7 years.
More than that. Yeah, but it's a lot to learn,
Is he super smart or something? Is it like, do you listen to him every day and go, oh, he's a bit of a genius?
No, we're lucky to be surrounded.
I'm asking her. I'm not asking you. So the secret is you should be sitting here with him, actually. So the genius is the hard work and grafting.
And no, some of it. He's surrounded with the right people. And
we recruit the right people.
No, they're recruits. We were partnering up with the right experience with you guys from the international companies in Europe, from Porsche. We've got 100 years of experience that we put up.
You have a flash lifestyle.
Flashy lifestyle in our very, 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 very down.
I feel it. Why? Why are you so humble?
Why not? Just listen, you have to.
Is it your dad? You got to learn this from someone. Was it your dad, your mom?
No.
Somebody said you don't show off. Nobody.
When you make your own thing, you know that. When you create your own thing and you see rock bottom and you see success and you see rock bottom again and you go up and down, you taste it all. So you know the risk of actually losing everything. You know the risk of.
And it's their tease.
So even in my 30, I think I've lived my life. That's
I feel it. Yeah, old soul.
Yeah, so
mature soul.
You have a family, you have kids. I think the main focus is to take less risks instead when it comes on the financial side, make more stability in your life, and then keep the company.
Do you think about money?
Of course, you think. You have to, especially when the company grows. You have some biggest
cost base and stuff is increasing.
Yeah, and the expansion funds we have are quite gigantic. They'll enjoy the monster. W literally becoming a monster today. It's difficult to control because what's funny about people know W from the light chain or the here, but this is literally 5% of our business today. And about the 95% is what we created in 2015, which in China when I went, and China became our biggest market in design consulting. So we created a company called the division, called Special Products Division, and this was becoming fantastic. But when you make a supercar company, it's impossible to grow. There's a certain limit to how much a company can grow. It's impossible to sustain growth also. And when you sell a product, deposits, payments, the car takes a year to deliver, cash flow, that's your burn, and takes 2 years to develop new cars. So you need to have something else to generate revenues. And this, I realized it very early on in the company tactically. So in 2015, with our access to China, we became one of the biggest suppliers for consultancy services for the Chinese OEMs.
Do you deal directly with the Chinese government or
Chinese
entrepreneur or somebody approached you?
Chinese startup, Chinese OEM, Chinese automotive company that follow Fast and Furious. They love Lykan. They love Debbie Motors. We love Dubai.
He came from the car.
He came from there. The movie. Yeah. So we started generating tens of millions of profits coming for design, engineering, manufacturing, 453 chauffeur. But when we use our expertise with international connection and design experience.
And they could still be going to Austria and Germany.
Well, yeah, but we just added now new services that we started doing through third parties, through W.
So your passion is still in the designing. You're doing all that.
This wasn't the pure design.
So how many people are focusing on the Chinese operation?
So Chinese is full division.
How many people?
Not about people. It's when I say full division, it's you have probably founded the engineer, for designer, the algo, then you have design directors, then you have a full team for it. Italy by itself, the software, then the prototyping, then you have the manufacturing. It's ongoing, and this has been ongoing for 2015. We had completely new conference staff for the next couple of years. That's a division. And that's one example. We do cars for several private clients. They come in, they want to design and build something crazy. We design it, we engineer, we build it for them.
One-offs.
One-offs, caravan, van, buses, cars, whatever you need. And then we do also.
Well, you don't get involved in caravans because you're passionate sports car.
We do caravans though. Yeah.
No, you personally.
No, I do. I get
Of
involved
course,
in
when you
anything.
get time to do the design.
Some of the really cool caravans, not just an old caravan, but like a spaceship from Star Wars and stuff like that. So we do a lot of these things. And then
Any more movies?
No, I think after Fast and Furious, they decided to stop making deals with anybody else like us. No. I think difficult to top what was offered. And I think it's better to keep it as a legacy for the FF7, their franchise. Now, this was snapped directly. If you keep on doing one movies, yeah, you become a bit everywhere. So more thing I show.
Where's the Chinese market going? Because they bought Rover, I think the MG, they bought MG there. So I first thought it was a great move because they bought into a British brand. So where do you think the Chinese motors are going?
Because China is officially now starting this year the biggest manufacturer of electric cars in the world by far. So they exceeded the production around the US, Europe, everything combined. So, and they are 10 years ahead, in my opinion, 10 years ahead of anybody else, any other manufacturer in the world when it comes to the electric technology, EV, hybrid.
Are they using Tesla technology and batteries or their own?
So
are you involved in battery electric?
A lot of these things. So all the special projects we do for the Chinese are all electric products. It's really the ranging standard of the world. So there's a lot happening in that space. And a lot of it is actually being exported from China to here. It's for the region. Has their base, has manufacturing assembly established here from Saudi Arabia and the region. So we're heavily involved with that and infrastructure and the setup of this company. We set up one of the companies that is out in Abu Dhabi as well for the assembly for them there. So there's a lot happening there.
Now you're working with government level, I guess. You'll be certain manufacturing.
Yeah, no. So this is the third division that came by coincidence in 2017, 2 years after the first project.
There's a lot happening very quickly, right?
Every 2 years, there's something new division that's born. But 17, we were requested by the Minister of Interior in Abu Dhabi to design and build the first SUV for the police force. So it was just an SUV that's built around the technology, not the other way around. So we took it as a concept. We built a one-off called the Beast, the Troll, which was presented in GITEX in 2018 at the Dubai Police Show, the stand. And the car was such a marvel. It had everything. Prime prediction software, the plate recognition, face recognition, drones that fly from the roof. Everything's embedded in a monstrous, beautiful car. They loved it. So His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid actually opened up the show, and he saw the car for the first time. It became a big statement that he's actually there inaugurating the car. Then the next day, Sheikh Hamdan came every conference. Not only did he see the car, but he decided to rename the car from Beast to Gayaf. Gayaf is the name of his falcon. And they became the Gayaf Public. And the Dubai police immediately signed with us an agreement to replace every single police car in Dubai with a Gayaf. So this was a 2-year contract. In between the 2-year contract, we had to do a workshop with all the police forces in the world, actually, play the feedback. So with Dubai Police, we went around the world. We took the start to the old PD, Chicago PD, we went to Belgium, we went to Spain, we went to China.
But you couldn't sell this anywhere else but Dubai.
First, it was just, let's get a feedback to understand what are the needs.
We're on the right track.
And let's build the Gayaf program to be a globally renowned program for police and special forces.
And you were supported financially by the government. You had to self-fund it. You had to sell.
We developed the complete project from scratch. We funded the whole thing, which was massive. We invested around...
Big risk.
It was around 65 million dirhams of the development cost just in 1 year and a half that we paid, but it paid off. In the end, we ended up signing an official partnership with the government here. So we are the only private company in Dubai that has a partnership with the government as a PPP. We develop, we purchase, we share, we market, we even stay late.
Do you sit down with highnesses and design cars?
Of course, I'm the highness of the commander-in-chief or whatever. We're there.
Really?
They're literally in our office every week. So
I guess they only deal with you, right? Because one wrong word, they could ruin everything.
That's something that you have to always be available for. But it's a good
that area's grown.
And this started with the first thing. And the first batch of delivery was supposed to be in 2020 during COVID, if possible. We pushed it to 2021, and this is where we became a manufacturing company. And this is where we decided instead of building our car in Spain and Italy and Germany like we always do, let's take the risk and build it here. So we need this contract.
How did you learn how to do that?
So within 90 days,
was it on YouTube? Was it like you hire the right people who've done this?
We've had enough experience. We've learned it for the past 10 years. We've been doing it, but with our suppliers. So we were there present. We know how it's done. It's not something that you learn at school. You learn it in real life. And we've had this experience. So now we had to hire people here. So we had People literally randomly coming in, from a driver that became a car manufacturer, from a copy boy that decided to start building cars. We hired over 70 people, I think, in a week and a half, from Satwa, from everywhere. Just, you want a word fest, let's do it. It was phenomenal. And we took these warehouses into the Oasis. We got the machines, we got the equipment, and the cars were delivered the next day, which was phenomenal. Today, the first batch, we have over 1 million kilometers of mileage on the road. These are actual cars on the road with zero problem and zero breakage, and everything functions. How many do you have now? So the first batch were 10 cars firsthand, and now we're delivering 400 cars for Dubai. But the first batch,
your cash flow is sussed. If you get paid.
Oh, with the government, you have no issue with that. So we're doing that now. And now we just set up the new production line for this car, which is 1,000 vehicles a year, in our new factory. It's fully automated line that starts now in August to produce the SUV for the UAE, for the GCC, North Africa, and the rest of it. It's going to be an export on a global level.
Americans, are they interesting?
American is a different kind of product. It's a bit too expensive for the American budget. Mm-hmm. So we're dedicating a bit special line for them, where the cars are actually going to the US in August. We're going to be presenting there in California. We're doing a US tour and trying to take also the development side to make it a little more affordable on American engine and chassis for the American.
Which project excites you most?
All of them. I think they're all exciting to be honest. Which excites you most?
The one you're really proud of.
I think these are the special ones. Now, the one I'm really proud of, to be honest, is the police car, because it's, even though it might seem like it's an SUV, there's so much technology on it. There's so much happening in-house that 90% of the car is actually built by us, developed, designed, and manufactured. So it's a big step.
But you said Abu Dhabi approached it, the first one.
Yeah.
But then Dubai took over.
Yeah. It's a long story. So
didn't Abu Dhabi get pissed off?
So the story, whenever you want to hear the story.
I'd love to, please. You've been jumping out so quick, like miracles happening in your life like this, right? So
the car was actually an Abu Dhabi project. For a year when we presented the car,
it's a good question though, right?
It was a very good question. So it was supposed to be Abu Dhabi. And so a few months, this was already, and the car was supposed to be delivered around December 2018 to Abu Dhabi. So let's go back a few months back. So we're, let's say, around May, already around there, June, July 2018. Few months before GITEX, I'm meeting with the commander-in-chief of the Dubai Police for the first time, just to present the company and to see what could be done in the future. Nothing to do with the time. Fully for company, we'll file a presentation. We do supercars, we do design,
hello.
We're doing this car, and he's like, hey, can you go back to this team? So we go back to this car, and the whole meeting was about this car. For me, it was a bit strange. He just he didn't know it. He's like, what is this? So I explained this is an SUV for the police that we're doing enough work. The car needed to be ready for GITEX. Yeah, but this is project for Abu Dhabi. I need to manage this. No, we want this car. No, you want this car. So it was a strange conversation, I must say, because I didn't know what to do.
I do apologize. They paid, right? They paid for the. No, you had to.
No, Abu Dhabi paid. Abu Dhabi paid for the first.
And everybody wants it for GITEX.
But Dubai Police wanted for GITEX under Dubai Police. Now, I'm not the owner of the car initially.
Correct.
And there's a private company also between the two that's also mediating with them. It was a complete mess. And the commanders insisted every single week we need the car, go in the car. So here we had two choices. Either you tell Dubai Police, no, you can't do it, deal with it.
Then you move to Abu Dhabi.
Or you tell Abu Dhabi, listen, there's something interesting happening here. What do we do? Which obviously going to say, no, we need to participate for it.
Then you give out your passports back and leave the country.
You have another choice, is that you get another company to help you build it. That will cost you 3 times more, but it can deliver it on time for October. Because don't forget, my plan was 6 to 7 months, but I had to do it in a month and a half. We did it, so we
and they said, okay,
but you paid them, so we take the losses as W Motors. We put the losses and we do it, and I do it as a neutral car, as in black, no Abu Dhabi, no, and we did. So we hired a company that's MBTech, Mercedes-Benz Topology, which is in Germany, Stuttgart, which does the Mercedes-Benz special card and the Maybach's special card. And why would you do it very much? Because these were the only company. This was the only company that knew how to build such a complex car. But why would you do that at loss? What was your going to your mind?
Thinking, well, screw that. I'm just going to
just thinking that
this guy happy. I'm losing $1 million.
I need to get the car ready. That's my main target. I don't care if I lose $1 million or 2 or 3.
You didn't think about the profession of the business.
Because I knew this is going to be quite a big profession.
So you had a gut feeling that
this car will make the future of the company. So we had to make it happen. If I didn't deliver it on time, it's gone.
So there's lots of risk going on all the time.
Yeah, it's always like that. Just living on the edge. That's how we do it.
And you're the only shareholder, the decision maker.
Yeah.
Or do you have a board? You bounce these ideas off you?
No, yeah.
Do they say, "What the hell are you thinking, Ralph?"
Yeah, but listen, it's the good thing. We all have the same mindset. We have financial.
Or they get fired.
No. The board is quite a serious.
They either agree with you or
it's quite a serious board. I'm still the majority shareholder of the company, but our board is quite big.
How do you choose your board members? How can I apply
it? We'd love to have you.
Thank you. Marketing and sales. That's it.
Absolutely.
So how do people join your board? How do you choose your board members?
Just like some of the shareholders ask for that, and they actually deserve it. And some others, we choose them as advisors to the board. We have a few which are technically from the industry or the international scene or the political scene that join us as well. Could help us with some good connections. And we have quite a good team for the solid team today.
Congratulations. Thank you. Almost the way you say it, you're like an accidental millionaire. You accidentally got here, but it's no accident.
No accident. Right? It was all the plan. The plan was to build those. The industry could be supercars or could be supply chain, can be Toulouse powered brand. We're doing all that today. And step by step, you grow this to cater. And you have to be volatile. And I mean, this is part of being an entrepreneur. You have to be volatile. You have to be able to shift and to the needs of the environment. If I should stick on this for 10 years, I will not be sitting here today. I will not be where we are. And you have to look it up for yourself. Where can I generate more money? Where can I build a caravan, let's say, that could make me maybe $20 million in 2 years? Let's do it. Gonna make it a starter and be a business fine by itself. Do it. If we have the capacity to do it, you have the resources, then it's a risk, but at the same time, that might potentially pay off. And so you do it. And that's what we did. So we're out of necessity and diversification to grow the business. And that's where we are today.
So your plant, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Your plant is got 100 people. You want 200 people. And how big is it? And what's its capacity? And what's the future every 2 years?
Our current plant is a 10-grade plant, which we took on from Hyundai and Kia, which used to be their Middle East head office. And this is what we did during COVID to build the Gaia Nico's in this plant. So it's 2,000 square meter. We have their 3D printing machine. We have stuff engineering lab. This is where we are now. Our other plant, where we started building in 2020 as well, pre-COVID, we took a massive land from Silicon Analysis with the support of his Highness Sheikh bin Saeed and everybody to help us. We were granted the licenses and we started building the plant. Keep in mind that the car factory, it's a full car factory. And this is the first car factory in the Netherlands. What I say, it's not assembly. We're building composites, panel, the parts, the battery, fast and motors, the whole production line. It's 200,000 square feet. It's quite a massive place. We have engineering centers. We have an incubator for tech companies to come and join us. The free restaurant. We have a private chef. We have a VIP lounge. We have a showroom. We have a cinema, production line. Everything there. All under one roof.
Who designed that? You did. In your spare time, what are you playing?
This was my. Actually, the one we built now is design number 57, whatever it is. So it's been in my dream to build my own factory, and thankfully we didn't do it earlier because we wanted to do it. Get excited, I want to build a car, but we did it at the right time. And 2020 was the beginning of it. And it was supposed to be ready by end of 20. Before we delayed everything for 2 years. We self-financed the factory with no loans whatsoever because the factory was completely built from the land to the construction to everything was built from scratch from the cash flow of the company, which is incredible. I don't know how we did that. Even the machine will figure it. So
Tesla's Tesla because of all the government funding and the financial assistance.
So we did ourselves.
Can you imagine if you had trillions, what could you do?
We don't need trillions, but yeah, imagine I think we're the only company in manufacturing company that was able to do all this from scratch. And Nico will tell you, oh no, we don't finance a car factory, or it's too risky for us to finance a machine or
you don't need to have that conversation.
What do they do? So we did it to prove to them that we can do it ourselves. 3 years later, which now we're opening a factory in a month and a half or 2 months.
But it's the date.
So we're going to be moving in around August time, operational then.
You do it after 24th of August when I'm back.
We're doing the big opening by November time. So
I'll be there.
Of course.
If I'm invited.
No, of course you are. So we're going to need a massive milestone for the company. And keep in mind that when we designed the factory in 2020, was based on our potential growth. Now they're moving in 23. We started working out on phase 2, which is the 1.2 million square feet behind that factory to start building our academies, our whole thing that we actually need today as we're growing at such a...
So what you want to do is you want to get an incubator for the people. So you get a college graduate, university graduate, and then teach them.
We have a partnership with RIT University, which is across the street of Boundary. So we have a material science lab that's in collaboration with W and RIT being set up now. There's a lot of new research programs for the students and the industry. And in W Motors, so we have an R&D center. Now we have an incubator to 1,000 square meter space. We have FP theater, we have meeting room, open space, arcade, projectors, open to anyone. They can go in to use for free and use our restaurants, you can use it. And we have a team dedicated to monitor these people, monitor these companies, And anything that we find interesting, we start investing in them, creating their IPs and taking that from production to production all the way. So it's an interesting way to create an R&D team.
So what's the culture like in your company?
It's an amazing company. Everybody. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, let's say now, because it's the team is growing
fast. Yeah, exactly.
We're growing fast, so it's difficult to manage the thing, but everybody's super excited. Our team is dedicated. They work 3 shifts a day.
They share the vision.
They share the vision. And they're...
How many times do you can get tuned?
Daily, we're always together.
And how often do you share the vision? Because it's changing all the time, and what the hell is...
No, the vision is...
Here's with your Ralph again.
They all know the target. They all know the vision. They all know that once you join W, it's not about one product workout. It can be 20 different things that will change tomorrow and the day after to the better. That we're making electric vans, but we're delivering delivery vans, pickup trucks, we're doing commercial vehicles, we're doing everything. But
local market or is eventually
international, but they're going to be fully assembled here in Dubai, made here, and expanded, electric vans.
What's the benefits of, apart from the government supporting it, liking in regional, why would somebody want to manufacture in the Middle East when automatically you think R&D's in Europe, cheaper manufacturing in China?
We find this basically, if you manufacture something in China,
you still be competitive.
Very competitive. Especially developed with the international OEM, so you have the credibility behind it, you have the certification with it as well, you have the testing done, the homologation done, all you're doing is bringing more opportunities locally, to assemble locally to create something, for the local market. And so we're creating a van, let's say an example, go to Europe. You want to buy an electric van for delivery, that's 1.5 tons, 7.9 cubic meter cabin. It will cost you around 60 to 70,000 euros. If there's a and energy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're doing the same product with the same certification for $25,000. So look at the difference between what it is. We are a massive market to produce here and start importing.
And then what, you're going to have dealerships in Europe and stuff? Or?
This needs to be
so you're dealing with the UPSs and the Amazons and stuff like that?
Directly with the last mile delivery.
So you have salespeople talking to you?
Yeah, of course. So we have Automotive Europe, which is for logistics, local operation, all this thing, but they take care of their Europe presentation, company, the brand.
Who coaches them how to have dialogue with you?
They're here. They're always coming in and out.
You're teaching them. Of course you are, aren't you? Yeah. You have salespeople, sales directors and managers. So this is happening all of the time.
Yeah, so we have Belly Boy India, and then especially now we have a lot of expanded identity agency, the one the USA when set up. So we're at the stage where we're growing a company's operation, not products, and on the international scale, from assembly to presence to engineering.
Well, your second plant is going to very soon run out of space also, right?
I hope not. No, the second plant is quite big. It's going to be quite big. So we're starting hopefully very soon. That's going to be a big game changer in it.
When you have a conveyor belt of production, I can't go on for hours. I know we're running out of time. Are we good till another 5 minutes? Yeah. Okay. When you're running this manufacturing plant, it has to be the same car?
No, what we did is
I'm thinking of Model T, right? So it has to be the same. Yeah.
It's a Model T is you're talking mass production. We're not doing mass production. Our capacity is 1,000 vehicles a year, mixed use, and 5,000 into the sample. We can do 6,000 cars, 5,000 assembly, 1,000 full production. So we're doing a lean production, which is a mixed use production line that's working on AGVs. AGVs are automated systems. Let's say they're conveyor belts, like autonomous flatbeds that pick up the parts, pick up the chassis, and go on a production line based on
built in Germany.
The AGVs come in from different, they come in from India, from China.
Who's really good at it?
It's about the whole automotive sector is easy to get. The whole of them are it's Industry 4.0 standard. The beautiful part about AGVs is that you can manipulate the vehicle without having a fixed production line. So if I want to expand it
anywhere you like,
go anywhere you like. And the whole robotic arms are just there to support. So goes here, presses.
But you still have human beings putting the bolts in there.
Human beings are still going to be on the stations, but the AGV is carrying the big parts, and the robotic arms are helping to put it in position. That's what we created, and this was the only way I could expand my production capacity from 350 vehicles a year to 1,000 plus 600. And that's what we did. So we're going to start doing it here, and we'll be the first company in the UAE that uses using an AGV system for production. And let's see where it goes. Some ideas might come up.
So you got this constant cell supply going up all the time.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I really cannot answer. I didn't know where I was 10 years ago. I wouldn't.
You see yourself like 100,000 car?
No, it's
never don't want that.
It's never going to be our target. No, we always want to be something. We want to be here to create something. If you want to have it planned,
then you lose your passion and interest.
Because you need your passion and put so much energy and focus into one product line. Start to 4 or 5 years of time to buy, where billions of dollars to be invested. It's all you do. Not what I want to do. We're not doing something for the masses. We're doing something to that will change communities, governments, country. That's what we do. Bringing infrastructure, bringing connection, bringing the whole, modern technology.
Could you be looking at ambulances?
We're doing that. We're doing that. We're the official partners for Dubai Ambulance. There's like 3,000 vehicles with fleet. You'll be seeing the first ambulances for Dubai airport coming up under the more very, very soon. Our team is actually there today at the Dubai airport.
Does Dubai government have an interest in your business?
Absolutely. I mean,
they're partners.
They are in support. Let's say support comes in many, many ways. There comes in contract support, finances, and potentially they're on financial support from there. We'll see where it goes. That's the main thing. Thank you.
I'm actually going to demand some tickets to your opening. I don't even want an invitation.
No,
I'm demanding some. I want to come to that damn factory.
You should come and visit us before the opening. I think.
I'm going away on Saturday for 2 months, 24th of August.
So when you're back in September, so we'll be in the new place already, and we'll have a nice chapel there.
I'll be honored. I'd love to see it. I feel a sense of pride, really do. So congratulations.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm sitting in front of a genius.
No.
I know. You got to have. I don't know. I think you have self-worth.
You're just very, very humble.
But you are absolutely a true gladiator.
Thank you very much. Really
It's
appreciate
an honor. And I'm sorry for the insult. I said, I'll just bring you my Ferrari and kit it out. Like, no, we don't kit our cars, we make our own. I'm like, oh, I better take those words back. And yeah, so I really honor you. And I want to thank the guys who organized this thing to it.
So thank you very much. It's nice to share the story. And the story is nothing without actually seeing physically live, the come way takes it to a different scale and to understand what we're talking about. So hopefully soon you'll be with us. And thank you for today. Really appreciate it.
It'd be an honor.
Thanks, man.
I salute you. Guys, wow. See you again.